Hey, Odie's on Finance community. This is Dr. Aaron Neufeld. I am one of the co-founders of Odie's on Finance and also a host of this video and audio series we're doing. And before we jump into the presentation today, just a couple quick announcements. Our book, The Optometrist Guide to Financial Freedom, is set to release in November. We're in the final stages of editing it, and it'll be available in paperback, Kindle, and Audible versions. So be on the lookout for that. We'll be sending more information out in just a little bit. Second announcement, we have teamed up with Earnest, which is a refi company. We've got the Odie's on Finance rate. We are a partner with them, and we've included the partner link and the announcement section of the group. So just look for that if you are looking to refi. Just an option for you, not something that you have to necessarily do. But take a look at that. Also, I want to invite you guys to take a look at our website, odiesonfinance.com. We do have a newsletter, so please sign up for that on the website. Also, we do have an Instagram at Odie's on Finance. Finally, we are sponsored by Tille Eye Care. Tille is an ocular nutrition company that was made by Odie's. And the goal of Tille is to provide affordable eye nutrition to basically everyone. And so their products are fairly cheap. Their most recent product is the AREDS 2 formula, which is about half the cost of competitors such as PreserVision and Ocuvite. So be on the lookout for that as well. And Tille is a startup company, so they're looking for Odies that are interested in stocking the product or recommending it to patients. So check out their website. That's theia-i-care.com, theia-eye-care.com. All right, so for today's presentation, this is part of our 3 Ways to 300K Net series. Originally, we wanted it to make it a Facebook Live series where we had a panel of 3 different ODs who have accomplished the 300K net in their practice. However, Facebook Live didn't really cooperate with us the night that we tried to launch it. So instead, I interviewed each doc individually, and we created presentations out of that. So tonight, we've got Dr. Charles Tille. He's from Sarasota, Florida, and he actually has a LensCrafters sublease that he has grown to 300K net. And actually, I think he's doing a little bit more than that. So what you're going to see is an interview that I did with Dr. Tille, and he's going to talk about different things that he did with his practice in order to reach that goal of 300K. So sit back, enjoy the program, and if you have any questions for either me or Charles, simply email us, odiesonfinance@gmail.com, or just jump on the group and ask a question. Enjoy! But yeah, if you can give me just a kind of a 2 to 3 minute overview of your practice, when you started it, where you're located, staffing, patients, you have all that.
So first of all, it was kind of serendipitous because I was in my residency in 2015, and it's kind of towards the end of it, and I was kind of looking around for different jobs, and I thought maybe, I might want to be an associate. Maybe sublease popped up in Sarasota, Florida for a LensCrafters lease. And the doctor had left, and it was dark for a couple months. And so I probably wouldn't have gone for that right away. But after that talk with him, I just responded. And then 5 days later, I was flying down there. I skipped Arkansas board because I was in Arkansas, and because I didn't think I was going to be practicing there, and I had this opportunity, and I met with of the higher ups and stuff like that. Next thing you know, I was shaking hands with them, and I was pretty much going to do it. And then I had to get a Florida license and all that stuff. And so right after my residency, I moved to Florida, and then I had about a month to get everything going, and I had to get everything, computers, Ethernet, and I had no idea. I had no business background, no knowledge, nothing. And so all I had was a very established place that had a clientele there. So from day one, I was making money. So unlike some of the other places, the private practice, there was already money to be made there. The previous doctor saw about 3,200 patients. She netted about 230.
Okay.
So I knew it was a good lease. I looked at all the numbers and everything. So I was like, all right. So I went in there, and it was the type of lease where I have my own staff on my payroll,
Mhm.
and I sell the contact lenses, and then they just do the glasses. That's kind of a dying lease. Most leases are where the employees are employed by the optical,
Mhm.
uh, and you can just pay them a certain amount for that, and then they sell the contacts. So it's more expensive for me to have my own staff, but because I sell the contacts, it kind of pays for that and more,
Right.
and it also gives me total autonomy. Like I fired like 20 people in my, because I didn't know what I was doing as far as hiring.
Mhm.
I did a
Mhm.
terrible job at first, and so, but if LensCrafters owns the employee, I got to go through their whole thing. It takes forever, so they got to let's audit it. So, I would say I don't know what it would be like having it any other way, but this is about as close to a private practice in a sublease setup that you can have, because all I do is I don't sell the glasses. Outside of that, everything else is mine. So the first thing I did, I went in there and I got a Daytona opto map,
Mhm.
and then I obviously had to buy all the computers and everything like that, and I got EHR, the built-in photographer and everything. That is something that was brand new, so we had to learn a ton of technology all at once. It was a really difficult first 2 months, like because we had patients, we were busy, and we were slow, and we had bad staff. So, so the first year was a huge learning curve. And I also, in Sarasota, it's an elderly population.
Okay.
So I started realizing, like, I see a lot of disease. For
Mhm.
a retail place, I mean, most people are just like they're cranking out refractions. I'm seeing a lot of like old people with all kinds of stuff. So um, at first it was a little too much, but after about a year, I started to get better at hiring staff and stuff like that. And then I started thinking, how can I make more money? Because I don't have a super busy practice. Like I
Mhm.
see about 8 patients on average a day.
Mhm.
And actually right now the next step is to try to get more patients, through marketing. But before that I had to figure out some creative ways to maximize the amount of money per patient that I could
Oh
see.
yeah. Yeah.
So even though there's a lens crafters that's 15, 20 minutes away, that guy's basically giving eye exams away. I mean, he's charging hardly anything. His optos rate, he doesn't even have an optos because one of those little cameras is like 30%, and he's kind of one of those guys that just won't buy, you know, uh, won't invest, and so, um, for me, I was seeing about 40% optos when I first came in because it was optional. And we had this like sheet that says, "Do you want it or not?" It's $35 or whatever. And after a while, I was like, "This isn't worth it,"
Yeah.
And one of the things I will say is like, uh, in general, philosophy wise, like to make money for me, I had to take risks. I
Mhm.
had to be willing to just uproot stuff that wasn't working and just change it. And sometimes it's scary. So the one thing I did is I bundled my Octos pricing into my regular pricing. Well, that jumps that price from $89 to 128. So to a lot of doctors, that's scary. Like I don't want to lose patients because
Mhm.
it's gonna cost more money, you know. But it's like, well, you could see, 2/3 as many patients and make more money, or you could keep cranking out all those patients that you're going to see and just be stagnant, And what I found is I didn't lose that many patients, and this year, like I looked at the numbers. I mean, we've just gone better and better every year. I'm my fourth year right now.
Mhm.
We do like 90. Okay, almost everybody gets off this now,
Okay.
because of the system that we have. And I looked at the numbers. I'm on pace to grow to about 110 grand for Octos. So that's a huge part of what makes up for the fact that I don't see as many patients,
Right.
you know. And I'm still paying for it. I did the lease because they had like this click like thing that was going on at the time, the number of clicks, and you got to pay for it. They've done away with that now. So leasing might be something I would have considered, but I bought it, and I'm still in the process of paying. So I pay about 16 grand a month because it's such a low interest rate of 2.9%. So I'm not going to pay it off. But yeah, so I'm probably going to net about 95 grand, you know, just from that machine,
Right.
you know, and I mean, that machine paid for itself in its first year, you know. So the other thing is it just gives me a wealth of knowledge. Like right at the beginning of the exam, I'm looking at these opto pictures, and yeah, it doesn't get the whole retina. But there's stuff I've seen on there where, you know, I've seen a tear on there where I've had to look around in a spot for over a minute, you know, to find it, and probably wouldn't have seen it if I didn't know, you know, if it's just gone around, you know. So it's taught some stuff, and then you know, so it's a useful tool too. I think best standard of care is optos and dilation, you know, and also tracking like choroidal nevi or nevus and you know, even glaucoma suspects and stuff like that, you know. So so that's a big part of my practice as far as generating income. And then another big part of it is contact lenses. You know, I'm fortunate that the location I have, the demographic is um, a little bit unusual. I get about 50% self-pay. Most people have mostly vision insurance.
And what vision insurances do you take?
I take a lot. I have to take IMED,
Yeah.
so I'm forced to because
Luxottica.
Right? Now, if I was in a private practice, I probably wouldn't take hardly any because they don't pay that much, you know. But I take IMED and then Humana and Aetna, and they're all basically IMED now. And then I take Superior only because there were enough patients that would call and ask, you know, and then I just wouldn't get them, you know. And for me, like, if I had a practice that was like jam packed 3 months out, I wouldn't take Superior.
Yeah.
Right. But the fact that, you know, someone could schedule an exam. If I don't, they're going somewhere else, you know. And I take Advanica. I don't see very many of those. I could take that. They're like $60 or $70 for the exam. I get a few of those. I was taking Davis until they told, and they were actually pretty good until they told me, Davis is kind of weird though. They told me that I had to buy the contacts from them, and that then they would reimburse me, and I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. I get my contacts from ABB, taking out the panel. So I removed myself from the panel from Davis because of that. For a while they were doing really well though. And I'm trying to think of what else. I think that's actually about it for vision insurance.
Okay.
About a year into it, and you can stop me if you have any questions, by the way.
Yeah.
But about a year into it, I decided to go medical too. Because I got my feet, you know, planted where I felt like I could handle it. Initially, it was overwhelming. And so started with Medicare, and then I somehow got on Blue Cross Blue Shield in Florida. They're not taking anybody new, but I found a loophole to this like credentialing person. I got on it.
Yeah.
Got on Cigna. Got on United Healthcare wasn't taking anybody. Looked like we got on them. And then Aetna was automatically, I guess, on. I didn't know that because I was taking the vision insurance. And actually, what I found, at least for my practice, is because we do our own billing. You know, and that was a learning curve too. But I can't imagine ever outsourcing that unless I was like an ophthalmology trying to go to so many.
Yeah.
But you know, we use a clearinghouse called Office Ally, which has been really good for us. But what I found is like Blue Cross Blue Shield is a nightmare. If you didn't use the right code, they didn't reimburse you. They wouldn't tell you what codes that you would use, what we could use. I got turned down by one because he wasn't age appropriate for cataracts. The guy was 66 years old. And
Oh,
I'm like,
that's what I turned.
okay. And then they started like calling and harassing me saying like, because we charge for refraction, for $39 for refraction.
Mm-hmm.
And then we charge $39 for optos unless I see something medically necessary to charge. And
Right,
then I
for a fundus
don't
photo.
charge $39 for that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, $78. So, well, Blue Cross Blue Shield, they started telling people you should be getting 3 items, and I'm like, this isn't a primary care physician. Like,
Mm-hmm.
this is an outpatient special what copays on. So patients are getting pissed. We weren't getting reimbursed half the time from Blue Cross Blue Shield anyway. So I was like taking out the panel.
Okay.
I spent over a year to get on that panel, and I got it taken off. Now, it might be different in like a primary practice medical. They might have it all figured out.
Mm-hmm.
But for us, like, it was just like, forget it. So basically, at this point in time, we just decided to hone in and focus on Medicare.
Okay.
Medicare it paid the best, it was the most consistent, it was the toughest learning curve initially because it's all about, I don't know if you know about Medicare much,
Oh, yeah,
really,
good. Yeah.
there's so many plans, so
Mm-hmm.
it comes down to being able to read those cards, tell exactly what it is. Is it an advantage plan? Is it, just a straight Medicare? Is it Medicare with supplement? And there's a key words, indemnity, that means it's a supplement. It's regional, choice. If it says that on there, that's an advantage plan. Then you start learning pretty much every Aetna is an advantage plan. Every Humana is an advantage plan. So I'm on those panels just in case, but we try to those are so unpredictable with deductibles and co-pays and stuff like that. So, basically with them, we do the best we can with them to bill it, and then we just kind of, see if we have to get money back to the patient, reimbursed or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to the supplement, Medicare with the supplement or just straight Medicare, we know exactly what to do there. We call in the automated place, we deductibles we met. If we met, boom, we're on our way at 39 or 78 instead of 128, and then we bill Medicare for whatever service that we have to. We've been doing that for a couple of years, and I probably make about 20 grand off of Medicare net, just to add a little supplement. The last thing I would say that I changed a lot was the contact lenses. So we have a very rich, older clientele where I'm at. I'm right next to like the P, the FTP, the EOT, and stuff like that. So you got to know your demographic, I guess. And so I tend to take advantage of the fact that, okay, my demographic can afford money. They can afford to pay.
Yeah.
So I need to design my practice for that. And I don't have the foot traffic, so I need to maximize the amount of money that I make. So what I started doing was we weren't selling contacts for a while because of all these online places, and I realized that. So what I did, break down, they give you a thing where you can break down how much it is per box.
Yeah, we use those at our practice as well.
It's great. So, and then we have Slack too in our computers. So what I do is when I'm in with a patient, as soon as I find out what I'm going to finalize, I'm still in there with them, and I just write whatever, Acuvue Oasis, and then boom, send it, and the person up front knows, start writing it up for the annual supply, and then what we do is we give 10% off for the annual supply. The rebate gets put in there. If they have vision insurance with an allowance, it gets put in there. And then we show them how much it would be per box normally, and then how much it's going to be per box once they send the rebate in and everything like that. And you can save up to $300, if you do the annual. So our annual supplies went up a lot, and our contact lens sales went up a lot too. So it's something I just had to kind of figure out, what's the best way to do this. And I got a little help from a rep that came, and he kind of suggested those ABV thing, and then 10% off, I got the idea from somebody else. So a lot of this stuff, I would just get ideas from other people.
Right. Yeah.
Like bundle your optos. Okay,
Yeah.
let's try and see what happens.
Yeah. Now with the bundled optos, I had a question about that. So you offer an exam without the optos and then one with the optos. Is that how you present it, or?
No, so how we present it is we present it as an eye exam, and optos is part of the eye exam.
Okay, so there's no option for one without an optos, or?
There always is optos.
Yeah.
We won't make them do optos. So there's a few that don't do optos.
Okay.
But for them to not do optos, this is what they face. We say, let's say it's a self pay. How much is the exam? $128. Boom, we stop right there. First of all, if they're good with that, boom, we just go. 89, and then on the thing it's 89 for the exam, 39 for the optos. If they go, they kind of start to hesitate or anything like that. Well, that includes, we'll tell them what it includes. That includes the full comprehensive eye exam, and including optos retinal imaging the doctor does on every patient. And then we just kind of, it's almost like a casual, but my staff's gotten pretty good at casually say it. We're not even telling him at this point. We're just telling him what the exam is. And then they sit there, and then, then if they have questions about the optos, then my staff is trained to tell them, what it does is it's a digital camera that takes a picture of the back of the eye, so it starts to help with the back of the eye to better help the doctor, see what's going on there. It can detect, neural things, and then if they are still kind of pushing back on it, and they're just like not wanting to do it, then we'll back off and be like, well, if you don't want to do the retinal imaging, it's highly recommended by the doctor. However, if it's something you really don't want to do, then it's $39, and we can waive that. So your total today would be $89.
Okay.
So that we know a script that we've developed over time, and then it also has to do with how it's presented and it takes practice from the staff. But like once they get confident with it, I mean, I've been amazed. I've gone up there and I'm listening to them as they're talking. The lady asked about, well, what's going on with the retinal imaging, and then I'll just hear my staff member, and she'll be like, oh, that's just the retinal imaging, takes a picture of the back of the eye. It's something that the doctor just does on all patients. And then she just kind of like looks away and starts looking at her. She's just matter of fact saying it.
Right. Yeah.
It's something we do. And she's just looking at her screen or whatever, and like it's like to her the conversation's over. Like
yeah.
I'm looking at them like amazed, because I'm like, I had this person like 6 months ago, and like, I mean, it wasn't like that, but they get good at that, but giving them a script for that has really helped, and I think me having a rich clientele helps too, so maybe my optos numbers are higher because of that. But I will say this too, I had that same rich clientele, and we were at 40% when I walked in there.
Yeah,
all right.
So
same clientele, 40% trying to sell it. All right. And then we bundled it within the 70s and 80s, and then we scripted it, and then it was in the 80s and 90s, and then we scripted it better, and then I got a better staff, and all of a sudden now we're at 98%. So it's not just the demographic, and we're getting, people used to complain, well, vision insurance is so tough because they know I get almost every vision insurance patient, because what we say to them is, your total for today is going to be $10. Now we have to be transparent with them. Look at the hard way too. $10 for your copay, and it's $39 for retinal imaging that we do on every patient. So your total is going to be $49 with your insurance instead of $128. They just want to know they're saving money. So then they're like, oh, okay. They're handing over the credit card, $49.
Right.
Boom. If they push back, we start out again. We go through the whole process. Like explaining it to them. If they say no, they don't want it, we go ahead and do the exam and go from there. That doesn't happen very often. So.
Yeah, and I think that you brought up a really good point, and to anyone that's going to listen or watch this is, know your audience. That's a big part of marketing in the eye care world and anything. And
Yeah.
knowing what your demographic is, what they want, what they're willing to pay for, what they're not willing to pay for, you can kind of cater your services around that. And that looks like you did a pretty good job of that with your Optomap. So
I also think that even if I didn't have this demographic, like, let's say I had 90% vision insurance patients, they're so scared to bundle, and it's like, listen, I'm not turning away patients. Like, I'm not, if they don't do office, I'm not doing it. And they're just, I've found that people are scared to bundle because they think they're going to lose all these patients. And I'm like, we might lose a few, but I haven't found that to be the case with anybody that I know that bundles, I know some people that bundle and they have a different demographic, and if their percentages, I have a friend that, in Fort Lauderdale, very busy practice, they're in the 80s, and 90% vision insurance, and they bundle.
Yeah.
And, they do similar to me. Now, maybe they charge a little bit less than I do, and that's something, I think they're 114 for an eye exam instead of 128. Another thing that we did is the contact lenses. It's just for us, like, we push dailies because we know that they're going to buy them more because of the demographic.
Yeah.
Probably do that as much. I obviously still try to always push dailies, but like, it's gonna be a waste of my time if I go through all the dailies and they get a price and they're like, no, So it's that one you gotta kind of go with the flow on.
And what's your dailies rate right now versus monthlies versus biweeklies, or do you track that at all?
Yeah, like I think I'm at like 55% for dailies. The way higher than the average, right? So, and premium lenses too, like the Acuvue One Day or Daily Photo One. Those are my top sellers. Depending on which one I pick, as far as, and I think they're both pretty good. I would say maybe the Daily Photo One's usually a little more comfortable for people that are a little harder to take out too, for like a new wearer. But like another thing I capitalize on too is Alcon. One time they paid me like $14,000 in like sales, like for rebates or not rebates, like money because I broke, right?
Yep.
And I can't match that the next year. So the next year, I mean, I think the Revisticon, or Johnson & Johnson that year, and they're gonna probably give me about 10 grand, and then next year I'll push Alcon a little bit more, as far as so that's another thing, that I think about, but it doesn't mean that I won't, I'm not going to put them in a crappy lens just to get a growth check.
Right. I mean? Still got to be the doctor. Yeah.
If the Acuvue Oasis for astigmatism, doesn't fit that well, like I'm putting them in the Boston Lom, or I'll put them in the Ultra for astigmatism, and that fits great. Boom, I'm selling those lenses to them.
Yeah.
And that's in the two fit better. So.
Yeah. Do you stock any lenses, or?
What's that?
Do you stock any lenses, or do you just order straight from ABB, or?
No, I just ordered straight from ABB because we get them in about a day. We're really close. I stocked one time for the Daily Photo One. It wasn't the greatest experience. Like, there's only been a couple of patients that were like, oh, you don't have them right now, Now maybe I think at a private practice that might be different, okay? Or maybe if I was across the coast or something like that, and I didn't get them in one day, because a lot of times it's like, oh, you don't have them? I was like, we're gonna get them tomorrow. Oh, okay, no problem. Maybe if it was further away or something like that, maybe that'd be the case. But spend a lot of money stocking one lens and then having these different parameters, and for me it didn't really work that well. It wasn't worth it, I guess you could say. So I don't stock, but I don't think that means necessarily. I think that a lot of private practices they do, and they probably should. I think it's just maybe a different group of people that has what they expect too. So. But we get it really fast, and so we're able to I don't think we lose out on hardly anybody for not stocking. So,
Okay.
and I think this year, and we've grown with contact lenses, but I think this year we're probably going to net about 90 grand for contact
For
lenses.
contacts. Okay.
Yeah. So if you take those numbers, I mean, 90 grand for contact, you know, let's say 90 to 95 for optos, to 20 for medical. That's 200 grand right there
Hmm.
without eye exam, you know,
That's
or
true. Yeah.
office
It's
visit, you
yeah. The
know,
extras.
or
Yeah.
yeah. So, and that's kind of how I did it. And I probably averaged between about 5 and 5.5 days a week.
Okay.
And probably worked, I don't know, 30 manager. I have um, at the moment, I actually have two other techs and one that just works on weekends. And I've been kind of inching my way up on how much I pay,
Hmm.
because I just found that, $11 an hour just isn't the turnover rate, for that is driving me crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. You
So
got to take care of the employees to keep them planted.
absolutely. And the last thing that I have recently done, I read books on leadership. I have mentors.
Hmm.
I think that's been a huge part of my success. Um, uh, as far as managing staff, I didn't know how to do that. I needed somebody that had done that before that helped coach me through that.
Yeah.
And now I'm pretty good at doing it. I don't have to ask them for help too often anymore. But like, as far as Medicare, I had an ophthalmologist I co-managed a lot of stuff with. He helped me
Hmm.
a lot with like understanding Medicare and like pricing and figuring stuff out like that. So, um, you know, it's it's something where I've definitely gotten a lot of help, along the way. Um, and and so I
Yeah.
think
And going
it was
back to medical, actually, is there any other? Do you do glaucoma workups, or do you have any other testing besides your Optimap? Or
absolutely, yeah. So we have a counter, we have everything except for like glaucoma stuff. We have a visual field. We have everything except for an OCT.
no, it's a sheet.
Uh,
Okay.
but then I met a doctor pretty early on that was just starting a private practice. He's actually a retina specialist, but he's kind of one of those guys that does everything. You
Okay.
know, or like he can even do cataract surgery, but he doesn't. He don't want to step on toes.
Yeah.
So we became, we became friends, and we exchanged numbers. But like, if I didn't know, if I saw something weird, didn't know what's going on, I go call him. Very lucky to have this relationship with him. On my cell phone, he'll talk to me. I refer a lot of patients to him. He refers some fractions to me. But just I've learned a lot from him too, and we co-manage stuff. So he doesn't have a visual field or an optical. He's not a
Hmm.
film patient, and I have a visual field with an OCT, and he's half a mile from me. So so, anybody that my protocol basically for a person that is a glaucoma suspect is, hey, I explain everything and I go, um, we're gonna do some testing here, and then there's one test that we're gonna have you do at this ophthalmologist here, just half a mile away. And then in that month's time, if you can get over to that ophthalmologist, that'd be great. Then we usually give up sending stuff back. And then they come in a month, when they do show up. They come in a month, I've got those CT, I just do all the other testing, gonio, chemistry, all that stuff.
Okay.
And,
Yeah.
and from there, I can make an assessment on, what I'm going to do at that point. So that's basically how I handle something like glaucoma. I just haven't found enough of a need in my practice setting to get an OTC. I would
Hmm.
love to have an OTC,
Right. Yeah.
but the reimbursement isn't very good. Number
Hmm.
one, and then number two, I wouldn't be able to do it enough to get a return on my investment like I would like an option map or something
Hmm.
like that.
Yeah.
And then I
Makes
got a
sense.
guy half a mile away that I can get it.
That
I can
has
get
one.
it.
Yeah.
therefore, due to all those factors, I have not bought another PC in television.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And kind of a wrap-up question, what was your percentage net in terms of when you compare gross to net?
Yeah, so okay, I can tell you exactly like just basically the accountant hit me up with I actually didn't realize I made as much as I did. So I grossed 666,000,
Mm-hmm.
and my net was 307.
Okay.
So I don't know what that came to exactly. At least
In the 40s.
45% was 307 divided by 46%.
Yeah, 46%, not bad.
Yeah, which is pretty. I think it's pretty high
Mm-hmm.
actually. But I think that this year it's going to be less because I'm paying my employees more.
Mm-hmm.
Taking a little more care of them. Um, like I said, I'm sick of the turnover. So another philosophy I did is that I wanted to make it more of a family atmosphere. So I
Mm-hmm.
turned the break room into I turned this other room into like a break room. We meet like once a month. I take them out to eat. We talk about things about family characteristics and stuff like that. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
really trying to like kind of bring them together. And so far, it's working. Like everybody enjoys it. So, um, but if that costs a little more money, and I also bump them up in pay, so I don't get kicked off like like these other things and stuff like that. Um, so yeah, now I'm kind of focused on a little more on like marketing and trying to get because I feel like now I can more people walk through that door, so that I can eventually hopefully get to where I can get like a full time associate OG and make some money, off of them. So
Yeah.
that's
And what's
that's
your overhead like in a LensCrafters setting? Are they just charging you a flat rent fee or flat lease fee, or is it
yeah,
based on
yeah,
production, or how does that all work?
yeah. So they just charge a, a rent fee,
Mm-hmm.
basically. I lease space, and then Uh, that's pretty much it. Other than that, my overhead is, obviously the Optomap, and then I buy all the computers and stuff like that. I buy printing printers and like iPhone printers and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
All my office supplies, but it's pretty low, because it's a lease thing. Like they have the NCTs there, the clarified digital refractions there. Those are broken down.
Yeah.
Their responsibility. They send me another one. There's some visual field went out. I have them get another visual field for me. That took a few months. That was really frustrating. Like one of like the chair wouldn't go up and down on one of them, so we were
Mm-hmm.
using the little chair. I was like, I'm sick of it. Give me a freaking exam chair. So they got an exam chair for me. Another thing is I think really key just in this setting. I'm very blessed to have a great general manager. I have a great relationship with my general manager. Um, and I will say this: the first year and a half or so, just to wrap it up, like you got to kind of stand your ground, or they're gonna like run me over. Like they were giving me a lot of slack about my pricing because I'm more expensive than
Mm-hmm.
most other places, and I just had to pretty much feel like back off, like don't talk about my pricing anymore. It took a little while. It took me about a year and a half before I realized like they kind of need me more than I need them. At
Mm-hmm.
least in my setting.
Yeah.
There might be other places where there's a line out the door of people that'll come in, but not at my setting. So um, you got to know that, I guess, too. And so I realized I had all the leverage, and it's like I'm I'm tired of talking about pricing. Like these are my prices, back off. And so after that, like they were a deal. But otherwise, yeah, corporate will kind of run you over, and they'll try to run your taxes for you.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, so you
Do
gotta
they have
remember.
a suggested pricing for exams, or is there a cap or a lower limit or anything like that?
I think like for me, it's 89 for the exam, it's 39 for optos. The reason it's 39 is because um, that's what vision insurance won't cover or something like that. And you don't want to have it too high or else they won't pay for it.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I would say that's probably a little on the higher end, to 128 for an exam. I charge 60 for a spherical fit, 80 for a toric, and 100 for a multifocal monovision fit. I can do that. I charge $80 for an office visit. Second office visit $80. After that, any other office visit $40.
Okay.
Punctal plugs will charge either 125 or 150, depending on if you're doing like the 3-month one or the 6-month one. I don't really mess around with silicone ones because I don't know, just bad experiences with that. So
Yeah.
But I would say if you're in a setting where it's, like my friend down in Fort Lauderdale, he charges 114 for everything. He charges 39, I think, for the optos, and he charges less for. There's another place, that's a little further off the coast. He charges $70 for an eye exam instead of 89. You got to kind of figure out what you can charge depending on what your demographic is.
How it works for your demographic, exactly.
So I think so, yeah.
Yeah. And if you had one piece of advice to give new sublease holders, whether it be ones, crafters, Walmart, Costco, anything like that, that's a big question we've been getting from a lot of members in the group. What would you say?
One piece of advice.
Or you can have multiple pieces if you want. If you can't put it all in one.
It's worth going for. It's worth it. You're gonna learn on the fly. If you could find a mentor to be able to manage staff, managing and hiring staff is going to be the hardest thing that you're going to do and learn how to do. And I would say, as far as hiring staff, this is something that I didn't do before. Be thorough in that process. Do a background check. This sounds really basic. Follow the references. I've had people give me a reference, and the reference throws them under the bus. And I would have hired that person if they interviewed great. Call the references. Also, call all the places that I know some people that I just hired on the spot and ended up being compulsive liars. They had great resumes. I guarantee you, they didn't work at half those places.
Yep.
I started calling
too. Yeah.
Yep. I started calling some places of some people where I'm like, gosh, this seems like a great candidate. Well, did they work here from 2013? You can ask 2 questions. Are they rehirable? And did they work here from this time to this time? If they lie, they're out. Like, not hire them. Managing of staff is going to really make or break you. And I was horrible at it, and you probably won't be very good at it either when you first start. But nobody told me about that. And I guess it's basic stuff, but sometimes when you're in a jam and somebody does a really good job, you're just like, I need somebody.
Yeah.
Don't be tempted by that. Don't be tempted by that. I need somebody. I gotta hire them. I need somebody now, and not check.
Yeah.
So you might hire. So I would say that piece of advice, it would probably be the best thing is just trying to find a mentor to help you, and trying to do as good a job of hiring as you can and learning aspects of managing staff. And I would say be a student of leadership. I've read a couple of books. John Maxwell is great. I'm reading this book called Strength Finders now. It's a way of the leadership. Leadership is a way of life. To me.
Oh yeah.
And obviously, the better person that you are, the better you treat people, then the better leader you're going to be. But there are also skills involved in that too. But gosh, when you're first starting out, it's really overwhelming. I would say forget about medical insurance initially. Just do vision insurance. It's way easier. Get grounded and start just trying to figure out a system of what you're going to do. Do your best to hire the best staff that you can. You get some bad seeds, cut them loose, get somebody else in there, and just keep at it, and be willing to try different things, even if it seems scary, like I think the things the risks that I took, that others didn't seem to be willing to take because of a scarcity mindset, have rewarded me the most. And get an optomat.
And get an optomat, oh yeah.
Get an optomat. Whether you lease it, whether you buy it, get an optomat, bundle it, and then there's other things I would say. I think anyone who does not get an optomat and doesn't bundle it, you're just losing out.
Yeah.
Like that's.
I think that's good advice. Yeah.
yeah. So hopefully that's helpful. And yeah. I don't know if there any
pretty much covered it. So that's
okay.
Fantastic. Yeah. Well, appreciate you taking the time to do this little video chat. I know it's late where you're at, so.
No, it's fine, man. I after what I did yesterday, that's the least I could do. I do. Would like to have been a part of yesterday, but I really felt bad. So when you're like, "Well, would you want to do this?" I'm like, "Of course, of course I would." So, but yeah, I didn't even think about the whole sublease thing. And how they won, and it's a corporate world out there. More people are taking corporate jobs because it's more available and it pays more. I will say this about if you're first starting out. And you have no business experience whatsoever, make sure you check the numbers on a lease. I guess that's step one. Before any of that other stuff, are you going to take the lease? And taking that lease, you should be making around $200,000 a year if you're going to take on a lease, in my opinion.
That's reasonable, yeah.
Like, if you're making a lot less than that, why not be an associate, and wait for a better opportunity? Because there's a lot of responsibility, and you're having to find coverage, and there's a lot of stuff that goes into it. You're making enough money, So I would say finding out what the other doctor did. That's what I did. I found out they should have all the numbers laid out for you about what was the gross. You can kind of figure out from that maybe what the doctor made. It should be around $200,000 or somewhere in that area, or at least like getting close to that. Or maybe they didn't have an optomat, and you still get an optomat.
Right, and factor that in. Yeah.
Factor that in a little bit. Maybe that's $50,000, maybe that's $40,000. But it's all about numbers at the beginning. So I guess the first step is if there's bad leases and good leases. A lot of bad leases out there. You get locked into those things. I've heard of friends of mine, they're not making any money. They don't have people coming in the door, so get a good established lease, and then after that, you can apply all those other things that I said. So that's step one. That's the most important decision right there. Is you got to really check and make sure that the numbers check out, in my opinion, and make sure it's a good lease. Or else don't do it. That would be probably the most important thing. Okay. You'll learn everything else on the fly.
Yeah, that's true. Figure it out. That's part of it. Yeah.
You'll figure it out as long as it's a good lease. Not a good lease, then there's not much to do. So,
all right. Well, once again, appreciate you coming on and talking. And I'm gonna get this video processed and hopefully get it out there in a week or so you'll be able to everyone will be able to see it.
Hopefully I was helpful, and hopefully give some people some direction and ideas on it.
Yeah, definitely. All right, Charles. Well, thanks again. Have a good night, and we'll see you on the forum.
Okay, have a good one.
All right, take care.